house has got better countertops. My sidewalk is some crazy type of imported Italian concrete. And my swimming pool's got LED lighting, and that one over there doesn't. I want $275.
Well, I can understand that you want $275. I can definitely understand that. You want the most money in your pocket, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what the market is telling us, not what I'm telling you, but what the market is telling us is that your house is worth $250,000. And I do understand that you also have, that wonderful sidewalk. Now, let me ask you a question. When you added those upgrades to your home, did you do that for your own convenience and comfort while you were in the house, or just because you wanted to try and possibly get some equity out of it?
So what you're asking me is that I think I was going to get, every dollar back on that Italian concrete sidewalk.
When you wish, yeah.
I was hoping I would. But what you're telling me is I'm not going to get that back.
What the market is telling us is that you're not going to get that right now. And remind me again, why are we selling the house?
I'm going to Italy to open up a concrete factory.
Okay, and when do you need to be in Italy by?
Okay, you see where this is going, right? Because now she's going to get into, talk about diversion, and not that I wanted to go there, but talking about their motivation, reminding them what their motivation is. Okay, here I'm going to go. Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I don't really need to sell. I can wait. I can wait for $275. I don't need to get out of here in 60 days.
Okay, well, you do know, Mr. Seller, that real estate comes in cycles, and right now we're at the beginning of a shift where it actually might be 3 months from now, $225. Don't you want to get them?
Did you just say it's a shitty market?
It's a shifting.
Oh, okay, all right.
You might actually, we can sit and wait, but it comes in cycles, so if you actually want to wait quite a few more years to have it come back around to possibly the $275, and mind you, our crystal balls are always broken. I'm telling you right now, the market, you can get $250,000. Wouldn't you rather maybe take $25,000 off of that price point that you were hoping for, and maybe not 50?
All right, okay, I get that. You've heard this one too. I get that, but can't we just try it for a couple of months at $275?
Try it for a couple months at $275? That's what you're asking?
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is you're going to put it on the market because you already know you're trying without the possibility of pure results.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I have a question. Could you mention, that you don't even think it would appraise at that? Because then your buyer has no chance of a loan covering
Absolutely,
that.
and I kind of dive into that a little bit more if I have to.
Okay.
Because that's when you're getting into too much explanation. If I can get him with that short amount of, well, you want to try, don't you want to succeed at actually getting the price point where we know that the market is telling us it can sell right now? Mm-hmm. And if he says yes, okay, let's put pen and paper and let's sign that.
Did you notice her first answer to the objection, that this whole role play thing was, I didn't pick this price.
Mm-hmm.
No.
The market has chosen this value for your home, right? And then she went to motivation, and eventually these questions, these conversations really happen. Leslie, when somebody comes to you and says, you just worked 3 hours on that CMA and you know it's $250. Actually, you're stretching for $250 because you know they want $275. How do you handle those objections?
And because I just took you out on Sunday to look at other comparables so that we could price your house at a lower price.
Did you hear that? Wow. Did you hear that strategy? Yeah. There was a TV show on HGTV that just did just that, right?
Well, what my seller said, or potential seller said, and P.S. I've already paid for the photos, $200, so I'm chalking it up as a $200 loss.
Yeah.
So she said to me that, came back in a text. We had agreed at, not even agreed. The price was going to be like $429. I took her to see some of these homes, what they're asking for, higher price points. They maybe were not as nice, or there was better water, it was a nicer property, and it was more money. So, you kind of do the smattering. So she came back that, I think it was that she was going to put a pool heater in, so now she wants $450.
Yeah, gotcha, yeah, okay.
Okay.
This is real.
From what price?
$429. Because
wow, that's an expensive pool heater, huh?
It's boiling, actually.
and she was going to put the metal roof on, but then went with the shingle roof. She knows that when she looks at property for her own purchase, that she purchases, she'll offer low, and she stays with it, so she's not going to go up. And she said to me, I know that I do this.
Okay.
So what specifically makes you think your house is worth $450?
Okay, see what she's doing here? she's asking this person to break it down for her, right? And this girl's, this is real life now. Did she trip over her own tongue?
Oh, she's real.
She's real. Is she tripping over her own tongue, or is she reconsidering?
No, because it would be her, she put on a new roof, all the improvements that she did, blah, 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 blah. And then, basically, she was taken advantage of by several contractors.
Yeah.
So I haven't had this conversation.
Yeah.
And with this particular person, I'm probably gonna be a little more forceful than I
Yeah.
would maybe with some other people, because based on the fact that you were taken advantage of and you paid more than you should have, you're not gonna be able to make it up in the purchase
Yeah.
price of the home.
Yeah.
You'll make it up when you buy your next property.
Yeah.
Oh, and
And
how long is your listing agreement? 6 months. I didn't know that. She wanted to do 2 months. I
Oh,
said,
no.
no, absolutely not.
that's
And then I
a
stared at
That's
her.
another objection.
that's another strong
Yeah.
objection right there. You're gonna get that too. John.
One of the ones I really liked from Bold was the beauty contest. Listen, your home is a beauty contest. They're gonna look at 3 to 5 houses, and you have to be the best house with the best value. And then showing them the houses. I really like that update that's coming to Command, where we'll be able to kind of show them and let them price it themselves. But showing them like, these are the 4 houses that are closest to yours. Where would your house fit in this? And if they're like, well, mine is obviously up here, you can go, no.
Right.
And that was one of the things John Prescott said. He was like, literally look at it and go, I don't see it. And I love that. Just going, it's not there. And just.
Well, right, isn't that part of the Bold? And I think we're
Yeah.
all going through it right now. But I thought this was brilliant yesterday or the day before in Bold, where you write, you draw a box and you write down 2 numbers,
Yeah.
3 numbers, 152,
That was great.
150.
It's my favorite tool ever. I'm
5,
so excited about it.
158. Okay, which one of these are you? So they can't think 165 or 175.
Yeah.
I'm just not seeing it.
I'm just
Yeah,
not
I
seeing
love
it.
that.
Just not seeing
I'm just
it.
not seeing it. And just let them.
That's exactly what John Prescott said.
Yeah.
He slid the paper
I
across
was
the
like-
table, and he says,
Just not seeing it.
I don't see it.
I put a
And then
new
he-
roof on.
yeah.
Yeah,
and
but I
a
put a
pool
new roof
heater,
on.
and I
Fantastic,
researched
now the
my-
buyer's
Inside
gonna
out.
actually be
Yeah.
able to get their financing because the lender's gonna see there's no insurance problem.
Why are you selling it? Because you don't want
Yeah,
to
but you
make
didn't even
it
say that. Like, that's what John. He's like,
Yeah.
let them babble themselves, and you go, I don't see it.
Well,
And that's
they-
all you say, and that's so great because it just lets them talk themselves out of their reasons. You know.
The comment that Leslie made with the roof and like new AC, stuff like that, you're not gonna get reimbursed for that. You're gonna sell your house faster than the one that's priced the
Right.
same
Yeah.
without it.
Yeah, it's
Mine
standard
looks
right now to
so
have
much
the new roof
nicer
and.
than
I know.
Mine's so much nicer.
I know.
And Leslie's doing a great job here, because that conversation's going to
Yeah.
continue, but I know, but my house is so much nicer, so much
Well,
bigger.
the house down the street has this, oh yeah, but I've been in it and it's not, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when we do it, we print out all the photos of the comps
Yeah.
that are around so that we can have it right in front of their face. Well, yeah, this is granite, but yours is Corian. Well, yeah, I don't like granite though.
Yeah.
Okay, but everybody wants it.
And she-
I've even
and
actually-
Sometimes I'll just say, sometimes people are gonna be very difficult, and the vast majority, you're gonna be able to get with those type of items. So
Yeah.
they're logical when you compare them.
Yeah, I've even
Some
said,
people are illogical.
like my D coming out, I've even said after they've like whooped and, oh, my house, well then why are we here and why are you wanting to sell it?
Yeah.
You love this house so much, why are you?
You know what?
Yeah, if it's so great, why you leaving it behind?
I
I
like
like fighting you to keep it.
I've said that, right? I think we just found the best buyer for your home.
It's you.
It's you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Nobody loves your home more than you do.
So I'll take 3% and I'll be on my way.
That's right up the contract right now. Now that's a great one. That's something I do. I'm gonna go back in production just to use that one.
I love that.
So I had an objection to an objection handler that I used to an objection.
To an
If that
objection.
makes sense.
To an
So about the price point, I said, I interpret the market, I don't give you the price, I interpret the market. And when buyers come into your home, whoever's representing them, if they're represented, is also interpreting that market. And they go, well then, why do I need to work with you?
Why do I need to work with you? You see where
Yeah.
that's going?
Like,
Because-
what's your value there? If there's a standard number, what's the point of hiring?
Well, because, I don't know, I'm guessing my answer would be something like, I might come back and say, well, you need a realtor, right? That's why you called me. Somebody's going to list your home, correct? That's why I'm here. But no, but you just said the other realtor is actually one that's gonna determine what the buyer's gonna pay, right? Well, they're gonna coach them because they're being represented by them, but.
Right.
And here I am coaching you.
You're gonna
And they're
interpret
getting-
on behalf of the seller, they're gonna interpret on behalf of the buyer, and hopefully you meet a fair ground somewhere.
And the only way that realtor is getting in is because of your marketing.
Right.
And you're pricing the property correctly so that you're getting those people in.
Okay.
Because that's the other thing I use is the price point, right?
Yeah.
In the first 3 weeks on the market is when you get the most buyers, and by week 4 you should be under contract, and then otherwise you're just gonna be chasing the market. And then the search engines too, right?
Yep.
They still do
Can-
on the O or the 5.
You guys do really, and I wanna piggyback that, because back to, because I was about to say about, if I'm the woman with the better pool and the better shingles, or the heater and the better
Her name
shingles.
begins with D too.
Does it?
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, okay, I get you, Leslie. However, I'm thinking there's another person out there that's gonna see value in those, so let's just do this. Let's just try it for a week and see what happens. And what Leslie just said there, and that sounds good to me. You might just say, yeah, okay, what's a week? But how important is it to hit the market at the right price?
Oh, it's very
The
important.
first 2,
Yeah.
3 weeks are critical. So so here you are, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, right? And I'll use that 275. 275K, we're guessing that might be right because you've got a great pool or a great heater and great shingles, but we know the market's 250. Well, guess what happened? All those buyers, we lost them in the first couple of weeks, right? Is that the point we're trying to make here, right?
Right, because you get the showings, here's day 0, and there's that slide in there, so day 0, and then week 1, 2, 3, this is when all of the showings and activity come in,
Yep.
and that's when you should get
Yep.
your offer.
Yep, and then it goes.
And the average sale to list price is still running about 97% of list. So what's 3% off of 275? You're not even in the ballpark, you're
Right.
way out.
Right, right. Because, yeah, you missed this. Now we've reduced it to 250 and we've got less
And
buyers.
the only way I would ever try it for a week is if you built it into the listing that it goes down in 1 week to the price that you think it's gonna
That's,
list for.
that's key, by the way.
Mhm.
You and I were talking
But
about
try
this the
not
other day.
to Take it over price.
If you do ever take a listing where if somebody said, yeah, I'll just reduce it in a week, get it in writing
Yeah,
right
because they
there.
won't, yeah, in the listing, because they won't.
And I used to, back in the day, I used to put a price, the one that I wanted it to be listed at, but right now, and I've only had to do it once, and it's the villa that we have, I put that within whatever, a week or whatever, when we do not have any showings or an offer, either one, I don't say and or if I don't say and, I say or, we're going to price it accordingly, reflecting what the market stats currently say.
Mhm.
Because it could go crazy. I could say, it's worth 250 right now, let's do 275, but in a week or a week and a half, it's actually 245.
Mhm.
That $5,000 will make a difference.
Yeah,
So I don't even put a price point in there. I'm like, we're going to adjust it, depending on what the current market stats
Okay.
tell us on that day.
go ahead.
You don't
So
put
it-
price?
I don't put a price in there. Nope.
We have a comment in the live chat
Yep.
from Gianna. So I wasn't lonely. But it's a good point. This conversation is very similar to, because this is objection handlers all around, right? This is very similar to when you're going after expireds and they say, what are you going to do to sell my house that's different from other agents?
Okay, does everybody know
With
that-
Rana's question, you know, that objection about, well, how's your value? If your value is the same, why do I need you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your value proposition? Does everybody know what their value proposition is?
Now I
Changes.
Now you do.
Well, the first thing,
Maybe it's name worth
the
more than
first
that.
thing I would say is, well, the one main thing that I'm gonna do differently is, I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Do you like that answer? Well, yeah, okay, well, let me show you how I'm gonna sell it. What are the 3 top things that realtor didn't do that you were hoping that they would do, aside from them actually not ultimately selling the house? Well, they never got in touch with me. They never gave me any kind of reports. They didn't put my cat back in whatever. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. Those are the 3 things on top of me selling it that we're gonna go ahead and do.
Yeah.
Let's get to work.
Yep, right, let's not, again, like the class we had earlier today, let's not assume we know what they want. Let's find out what they want.
Well, why do you think that realtor didn't do a good job for you?
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just-
Why do you think that realtor didn't, what was missing? Talk to me.
Yeah, and that helps you set your expectations with them right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, if there's something that they say that they really want you to do, and you just don't do that within your marketing program, like, I don't really need to take this listing today, because I'm not gonna be here doing an open house twice a week,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Oh, no.
But I do like this one. I'm not listing for 6 months. How would you answer that?
5 months and 5 days?
Okay.
5 months and
15
days?
Typically, does anybody use science? Does anybody use the absorption rate formula?
I've talked about it.
You talk about it?
Mhm.
Yeah, because, well, right now your absorption overall is 3.1. No, excuse me, yeah, 3.1 days.
So right now, the data.
For our
that-
association, Leslie?
Yeah.
Right now, in this price range, our MLS, you understand what this is, right, Crystal? Our association right now, our statistics are telling me that's gonna take over 3 months for your home to sell, even if it's priced perfectly. That's called absorption rate. Why would I only take a 2-month
Yeah.
listing? Would you, right? Sometimes it's a 9. Some guy used to say, I can't remember what the trainer was, David Knox, he says, I just showed you that it's gonna take 10 months to sell your home, and you're asking me, you wanna give me a 3-month contract. That's like telling me to cross a 500-mile desert with 10 gallons of gas. I don't know what it could make.
Plus, what I had said to her too is your average days for a loan is 30 days, and sometimes 45.
Yeah.
Then there's the marketing time. You're not gonna get an offer on day one, especially if you're overpriced. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I want it to happen for you, and I hope it does happen.
Don't get me wrong.
It's not gonna.
What's our job? What are the 3 things that they say?
Price, location, condition?
Price, location, no. What do they typically want from us? The highest amount of money
Shortest amount of time,
with the least amount of
effort,
effort and
Right.
hassle,
right?
right? And to get you those 3 things, I may need this much time. I know you wanted the least amount of time, but the market says 6
Right.
months.
I've-
I'm done explaining to people a little bit about what, what it takes to get the property done. I've actually said to people, look, the contract says 6 months. If we're working together and there's a reason why you think I'm not doing the right job for you, and you tell me that, and I can't fix that for you, then we probably shouldn't be working together, and I'm not gonna hold you to this. And I've never had to hold somebody to a listing agreement that didn't want to work with me. And then sometimes I'll throw in, only one time did I have to fire a client, and it was a family member. You know what they say about doing business with family members. And then that's the end of the
Well, you
conversation.
can put in
Move on.
and that's another thing John Prescott said in bold was to put in a 24-hour, or was it 48-hour, like, fix, essentially, clause. So like, if they report, like, listen, you're not doing X, and I need you to do X, then you have 48 hours to fix that or be released from the contract.
Yeah, like a 48-hour right of rescission, like on
Right.
like on condos.
Right, so it's essentially like, you know what, you said you were gonna send me market reports, and I haven't seen one in 2 months. Well, then, all right, I'm gonna send you one in the next 48 hours, I'm gonna make sure you get it from now on. If I don't send it the next time, then, we're done.
I'm glad you bring that up, because I don't, especially agents that are newer to the business, like, and we are members of List Hub, right? We have access to List Hub. Those online reports are the easiest way to communicate with your seller. All you do is plug in their email address and it spits it out every week or however you set it up.
Do you guys get that for free?
Yeah.
List track. List track.
No, this List Hub has it too. Oh, you have to pay for that, right? It's like $99 a year or something like
List
that,
track
right?
is free.
Yeah, just try
Right.
to.
But Realtor.com, you can set it up in there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like all the portals, I don't know about Zillow because I'm not a paid member of that, but
Thank you for that. I think that was one of the big, when internet became really, really big, I think one of the first things I started training agents in my team was that, the seller would go, well, nobody's looked at my house. If you have those reports, well, in fact, Zillow, Realtor.com, and all these other home search sites said that 736 people saw your home last week.
right.
And that was back, and that still works, I think, today.
The sellers actually look at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Versus,
interested in
I
it.
mean, I don't.
Yeah,
But
well,
they
like,
do.
with my,
Where's
especially with
my
my
offer
land
for
listings, I send
731
that to
people
them
saw my
twice
house?
a month. They get it
Yeah.
bi-weekly, and I call them once a month and I'll talk to them about it. And that's, I have one who I've had listed for a year and she's overpriced and she won't come down because the market has changed. And we actually had 2 offers on it. So this last time I was like, well, when we go over what's going on here, we're going to see your feedback is, because you don't get feedback on lots.
Yeah.
Your feedback is they're looking at it and deciding that the price is too high, and then they're moving to other properties. And then saying, so we need to probably figure out how to adjust that. Obviously, you can't move a lot, so what are we going to do?
The market has rejected
Right.
that price, right? What's another big objection that we get on a day-to-day? Oh, can I throw one out there?
Sure.
I want you to do an open house every weekend. How do you answer that?
I'm
You
busy,
do
I'm
it.
sorry. But we have many agents in the office
There you
that
go.
are new, and
Yeah.
they would they would welcome the opportunity to work with the
Yeah.
buyers to help sell
Okay,
your home.
that's an open house one, right?
Yeah.
However, I can tell you though, that an open house every single weekend is not the answer. We could commit to once a month.
We got a seller that you can explain that to, Leslie. That'd be great.
Exactly, it's twice a month, and so we talk about, I understand that you would like to have an open house, but with the times and everything changing, that most buyers are actually, even somebody that's living 5 doors down, before they walk over to your house, they're gonna be looking at everything online. So we base primarily most of our marketing online, because social media and all those avenues just actually bring buyers a little bit more. The open house people, they're tire kickers, and this is not just us saying, it's just historically that's what's happening. And then we do have a graph that's in keyw.com.
And wouldn't we be telling more people that your house is overpriced?
Well, if we're still on that.
Yeah.
price thing.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you're
Especially if
open
there's-
house twice a month and you keep doing them,
Right,
it's overpriced because it should.
Rhonda, how do you
be
answer
done.
that one? You're high D, how do you answer that one?
So this one I actually did just have, and it was with the listing I just got, and I said that buyers are now using the internet. We're in the internet era,
Yep.
and that's how you're attracting people in. And wouldn't it be special for that buyer to have their own private session in the home to view and take time and think of questions and look around and start nesting?
Yeah, I guarantee that same buyer that would come to the open house also saw it online. They can make an exclusive appointment with their agent or myself to see this property if they want to see it bad enough.
And we try to track it as much as possible when they're just walking in the door. I mean, for safety reasons, there's so many different things that we can go into, but, tracking it through another realtor that's bringing them and giving us
Okay.
feedback
This is me again, I'm being a wise ass. This is the high I in me.
no.
You said it yesterday. I was just gonna repeat
So you're gonna do an open house? Well, you know what? I really don't need any buyers right now. And they go, what do you mean? Well, the number one reason real estate agents do open houses is to get buyers. They don't expect to sell the house. But I don't need any buyers right now, so I don't need to do any open houses.
And then, what's the objection when you try to have an open house for someone?
Would I do have an open house?
Yeah, what's the objection
He's-
for another agent now that deals with that seller?
Yeah.
When they
Right.
want to throw an
I
open
get
house?
See,
I don't know that
we've actually just started implementing them because we feel that, okay, if you want to open up, now we clarify with them that, sure, we will do open houses for you, absolutely. We use, what Leslie said, that we have a bunch of agents that are eager to, get their feet wet in the business, and so we would actually rather throw that opportunity out to the other agents, and it's another advantage to do it, seal it all up in the same office.
Yeah.
So we won't turn them away, whereas we used to years ago. But now we'll just, if that's what they want, then we do it, but we're not physically doing them.
Yeah.
Well, I think open houses, I think there's a reasonable amount of anything, right? I think that's really the thing here. Look, I think 2 open houses in the first month is a great idea, but let's look at where the buyers are looking at this house. If we're having open houses in month 3 and everybody else has been on the market for 60 days, nobody's coming to the open house anyways. Unless you're ready to do a price reduction then, in which case I'd be happy to do an open house for you.
Well, you can go back to the whole FSBO script too. There's 4 different types of buyers. You can use this for open house. There's 4 different types of buyers. The first 2 are the ones that are really wanting to find a place right away. They're motivated. They have no place. They already have something sold and they have to get into a house right away. They're working with a realtor who can make a one-on-one showing and not have to go through an open house. The second one is kind of motivated. Maybe they're at the beginning of the stages of looking, but they don't have to move right away yet, but they're still working with a professional realtor to get that showing and that one-on-one scheduling. Then we have the looky-loos that have nothing to do on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon. They want to see if there's some cookies and some water in there, and they're just looking around. And then the investors, which are the sharks, and they're going to lowball on the price point anyway. So our best bet is to have somebody that's going to come through a realtor, and that's going to be, you know, a one-on-one single showing.
From the security standpoint, the fifth one is coming to case your house.
In case your house, right.
Steal your pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Crystal, you're sitting there awfully quiet. Crystal's probably our newest agent, right?
Yeah.
If you're in a listing appointment, what do you, right? Because if you're in a listing appointment and you really want this listing, it's probably your first or second or third listing that you've ever had in your career.
I wouldn't say yes to
An
4
open house.
weekends a month, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
she's
would
got a
tell-
busy family
yeah,
life,
I have 3
right?
children at home, and
Yeah.
I'd kind of go back to the commission. Well, then we need to negotiate. If you're wanting it to do 4 weekends a month, then we need to negotiate more into the commission. I kind of use a little bit of what Wayne said, and
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I would say it, but you know, he said 7%, and he gave his buyers, you know, the buyer's side 4%, and then he kept 3.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to somehow tie all that together, because, I mean, if I'm gonna want an agent to come out on a Saturday and miss their kids' ball game to show this house, to see this house, then we need to make it worthwhile for them. So, I would.
Well, I think that's a really good point, is to say, like, listen, my 3% is gonna cover one open house by me, others by other agents, you know, and then if we do a price reduction, then I'm willing to negotiate doing the other one. But otherwise, you're talking about, let's see what this is gonna break down to hourly. You know, the showing fee is usually $25 to $50 per showing. So if you're asking me to hold a 3-hour showing, are you gonna throw me an extra $150? You know?
And then you would
Yeah.
also go into the point, I'm sorry, Brett,
No, that's okay. Go
but
ahead.
go into the point of, you know, how many referrals are you gonna give me also? Because at this point, you know, I am working strictly for you, so if I'm gonna put all of my time and everything into you, then I don't have time to lead gen or prospect or
Yeah.
find new buyers and find new listings. So who do you know? And slide a piece of paper, start writing them down, names, numbers. Like, come on, let's get this done.
Well, and that goes to the bold listing again, like that's the bold listing presentation where he says, listen, if I'm doing open houses at other houses, I may find the buyer for your house, because they don't always come through your door. They might come through the door 3 blocks away, or even in Punta Gorda looking, but really they should be in Port Charlotte. And if I find them, I'm gonna bring them to your house, but I need to be prospecting for those buyers on a daily basis. So I can't be in your house every weekend, but I'll be working, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That goes back to that menu of
Services.
what you're gonna do, right? Your menu of services. So you better
Show value.
believe if we're gonna incorporate 2 lower levels,
Yeah.
we are definitely gonna at least incorporate 1 higher level too.
Yeah.
You know,
Right?
so that higher level, then maybe I'm more flexible in doing more open houses for you.
Yeah.
I have found anytime I go out of the model, whatever your model is and how you think that you should be listing a home to get it sold, if you go out of that model and then the seller is in the driver's seat, you're gonna end up with an expired listing. So you just stick to what you know sells a house, back it up with whatever statistics that you have and what you feel has been the right path for you, and stick with it. Which is why, David, I won't be taking your listing at $450, because I'm done with doing those, and it tends to happen mostly on people that I know, or it's a past customer, or just,
Yeah.
you know, there's some kind of, oh, I don't need to sell it, let's just throw it up. Sure, I'll
Yeah.
throw it up there for you. You know, I sold your mom a bunch of houses.
Sure.
And then you get the call, what's going on? My house isn't selling,
Yeah.
because it's overpriced.
Yeah.
You didn't have to sell it, you didn't
Remember you
want to
told
sell
me,
it.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and it just,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
end
remember
up-
when you told me that you didn't need to sell it?
Right.
But what are you hounding me for?
Well,
Stop calling.
and then you're gonna treat it different, because if normally you call once a week or whatever, again, whatever your process is with these overpriced or these off-price type of properties, you're not gonna call them, because you know, we all know it's overpriced, we had that conversation, yet they forget that conversation.
It goes to-
So you still have to remind them every single week, and if you take it, you're not making any money. So maybe you get a buyer from it, and good if you get a buyer.
Yeah, every once in a while, I've done it, right? I've taken that listing I didn't think was gonna sell, hoping that I would get buyers from it. You know, we've got agents, in the office that love putting signs on high traffic roads. Maybe they'll get some business from it. But in the end, you're not gonna probably sell that listing.
Yeah, and it's not worth your time, you get a frustrated seller, this is my experience. It's
Yeah,
definitely
you like
gets-
this?
Absolutely.
You like this?
Yeah, this, it just brings back some of the conversations I had, like, with people that have sold houses that actually, renters bought the houses and the owners wanted to reduce my commission right off the bat,
Yeah.
even though the tenant was, so in that case, I would say, well, 3%, because that 3% would have normally been if I had to pay another agent, but
Yeah.
I'm not paying that other agent, there's no in between.
Yeah.
And then they just go back and forth, and, I've never reduced it less than 3%, even though I've managed that home for years.
I'm glad she brings that up, because this is something that has affected our own office, is in the listing agreement, where it talks about if we sell it, the commission is gonna be this much. If it's a lease option, it's gonna be this much, right? All of those
Yeah.
items. We have agents that only put it at those, for selling it,
Yeah.
and they put zeros at the
And get
lease
nothing.
option or whatever, and then something like that happens, they've been doing all their marketing all along the way, and now the tenant buys it, and the landlord, the owner of the house goes, sorry.
Yeah.
And
I
we've
used to
had,
put zeros until,
Yeah.
I think it happened to Jim. So it was a story that I heard, or maybe it was Jim.
Jim was telling a
and
story
it
about
was
somebody,
first-
yeah. Yeah.
And ever since then, if it's whatever you charge.
So whatever you
6%, 'cause
put-
we all can't charge the same price, right? So, but
Right.
it's 6%, and then make sure you put the percent sign.
Exactly.
On those other two, because otherwise it's just 6 or 6.
right, so the
Yeah.
first one has the percent sign already on the listing agreement, the other ones you have to put either the dollar or the percent, depending on what it is, right?
Yeah.
But whatever you're putting, whatever you wanna get compensated for those items, just in case it happens, then you need to put it in there. Because it can happen, and that particular story, the listing agent didn't do it because the seller said, oh, there's no way I don't wanna rent to own, or, blah, 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 and they did it. So, and you just tell the seller, so what I would say then is, well, I know you don't ever intend to do it, so it doesn't matter that it's there, right?
I just skip it. I mean,
I never get anybody actually inquiring too much about it.
No, because really you talk, for me anyway, you talk about the highlights, like all those places where you're plugging in, and I know you're plugging in a number there, but you got 6% commission, so it just goes all the way down, 6%, and then you go to your, whatever the other ones are, and I do a cancellation fee because of the photos, and it's not a gross amount or anything like that, but I just say cancellation fee, and it's to compensate me for the photos if I don't have the opportunity to sell the house.
That's a good point, because there's a misunderstanding in that clause. The seller is required to reimburse you for your direct expenses anyway.
Yeah, I've only had like one, no, if it's blank, it's gonna be 0.
No, that's in addition to your direct expenses. I was confused by it for years too, but that's what it says.
Okay, well, I only charge them whatever amount.
No, we do it too. We have a $250 fee in there. Yeah.
What's an objection that somebody just heard in the last month that they couldn't come up with one, or they just like?
So I've been calling this one for sale by owner for about 5 months now, and every time I call, oh, I've sold 200 houses all by myself.
Okay.
Of course you have.
You put that as an item.
Exactly. I own a construction business and blah blah blah, and I've sold. So I was motivated. I stayed on him. 5 months, I'm calling. I look on Zillow the other day just to look at his house, see if there's more views. It's not on the market. It's off market on Zillow. I'm like, that's strange. Did he sell it? So I look in the MLS. He listed with another one. So I called. He called. Yeah. So I called and I asked for feedback about, I've been keeping in touch with you.
What are you wrong?
I said, every day I like to increase my business and make sure that I'm doing a great job. Could you please give me some feedback about why you didn't choose me to sell your home? And he was like, oh, I had loyalty to another agent. I bought the house from her and blah, blah, blah. So the objection of, I've sold houses on my own, don't even listen to me.
Well, I always ask, when was that? How long ago? Where was that? Well, it was like a couple weeks ago. Well, why don't you just go ahead and get your real estate license down here? Well, I don't want to deal with that. Well, I do. That's my job.
Yeah.
So let me, take that on for you or whatever.
Yeah.
But that should have been known like from the get-go.
To Rana's point, and I'll present this to all of you ladies, to Rana's point about him listing because he had loyalty to somebody, right? Which is either a past agent or a friend or family member, especially as it applies to expireds, right? Where they say, well, I'm going to relist with the same agent. So how do you handle that?
What are they going to do differently this time that they didn't do before?
You know the definition of insanity.
Doing the same thing over and over again.
Like, you so crazy?
I don't like that one.
I had a guy.
I know, I've never really heard of that one either.
I think I probably called him the day that his property expired. He had no idea it was expired. His agent hadn't even called him. And he was like, well, I'm going to get a hold of him and talk to him first. I was like, all right, well, what do you think he's going to do differently this time? Did you have any showing? No, I didn't really actually haven't heard from him in a while. So, and you're thinking about listing with him again? Do you think that he's going to sell it this time? He's like, well, I've known him a long time. I really should list with him again. So I got to talk to him. All right, have a good day. Call him the next day. No, I haven't heard from him yet. And I'm like, all right, so the listing's been expired for 24 hours. How many agents have you heard from? Probably like 10. Oh, really? And but you haven't heard from your agent? No. So you're going to list with him? Yeah.
Give him another chance.
So, I called him like twice a week for like 3 or 4 weeks, and he still relisted with the other guy.
Wow.
Then it expired again 3 months later.
Oh, jeez. Got dirt on him.
Still overpriced.
I called him like, hey, remember me? How's it going? Listen, I was just wondering, how's it going with the house? I saw it expired again. He's like, oh yeah, I remember you. No, yeah, he didn't sell. He's like, it's funny because I always hear from you first when the listing expires. I'm like,
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it?
That guy's not as motivated
so,
as he should be.
well, he called me about a month into the second time or third time he had it expired and was like, he's like, so how soon can I list with you? I was like, well, you can cancel your contract and then we can talk, or you have to wait. And so he like called me, it was like December 23rd, and he was like, my contract's up January 1st. So he's like, call me. He's like, because I haven't heard from my agent in 2 months. And I'm like, why did you keep listening?
I want to know who that agent is.
Yeah, who's this guy?
I was like, all right.
Yeah, well, he knows him so well because he talks to him all the time.
Yeah, it was like, he's like, I really should listen to him again. I was like, really? Because, you feel like 2 times, you just stop after that. But no,
He's one of those ghost agents we just purged out of our system.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, they finally, it was a lot, and they finally listed, and he's like, I haven't gotten calls or anything about it. And then we finally got it listed, but it was just...
So what could have Rana, back to that one that she just talked about, what could have Rana done differently in that situation? Or is it just take it as a loss?
Take it as a loss, but if you had known, if there was some way to have discovered that they were going to use the agent that they bought the house from, then you would come as the listing specialist versus somebody who just sold you the house and they're on the buy side. So then you're just trying to differentiate.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
if you
curious,
know that up front, yeah. If
I'm
you
just
don't know
curious,
up front,
are you
Well,
helping
right,
somebody
no,
else,
that's
or am I
what I'm
wasting my
saying.
time?
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
So
But
He wasn't being honest.
he wasn't being honest, because he
Yeah.
told me he sold houses.
Right, so you
He
don't,
didn't even tell me that he purchased this home through a real estate. Had he told me that,
Yeah.
then you could have handled the objection.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is don't get discouraged by someone telling you that
Yeah.
objection, because
Yeah.
it's not real.
And the script is, Mr. For Sale by Owner, sometimes it is better to sell it on your own than, working with another agent that might not get you the results that you're looking for. There are people that want to work with a realtor. Would you refer them to me?
And I'm
Yeah,
curious,
okay.
when you do sell, where were you moving to?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I like that one a lot, because it takes them off of whatever rabbit hole they're going down.
So,
That's a good point.
so buyer's specialists, right, or an independent agent working with buyers, one of the first things that we're taught to ask is, when a lead comes in or whatever, are you currently working with an agent? So that's a prime example of maybe we should start asking sellers or potential sellers, is there an agent that you normally deal, you know what I mean? Kind of work that in there somehow.
Right, but are you interviewing more than one agent for the
Yeah.
position of seller?
Well, let me,
Sure.
let me twist,
In theory,
put a twist
we're
on
asking
that.
that,
And no, nothing against a brand new agent. You're coming in here with a couple hundred sales, 3 years of whatever, and they say to you, whatever your presentation's great, but my niece just got her license last week, so I'm gonna list with her. How would you know? Has it ever happened?
Oh yeah, it happens.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or my daughter's getting licensed next week, and I'm gonna list with her.
Yep.
How would you know that?
Oh, but your daughter, have fun.
First of all, has your daughter decided where she's gonna hang her license yet?
That's where I was gonna go with that.
Is she
It's right
happy for her
over
brokerage?
to.
No, but it's a real one. You've seen it. Sometimes, we're the business right now, by the way, you know that, right? That's 67, maybe even higher than that. This is a couple years old. 67% of all people will work with the first agent that they meet. Not the most experienced agent. So there are some agents that are first, but they're not experienced. You've experienced that.
Well, my first listing, not once was I asked, how long have I been in real estate? Not once.
Not once.
Yeah, and that was my first listing.
What have you said if they said that?
Yeah, I had no idea. 'Cause I just didn't
She's like,
know.
you got away with that one.
Yeah,
Crystal?
that one.
Crystal's got this because she's fairly new.
Well, and I've said it a couple of different ways, I've said how new I was, and that went right out the door, so I was like, I ain't saying that again. And then, I've asked, oh, so why do you ask? And then they, if they ask another stupid question and I have to answer it anyways. And then, so I say, well, some days it feels like it's my first week, and other days I feel like I've been doing this for 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, and then
And most
if you
people aren't
need
gonna go
stats,
So
Yeah.
that
No, that's a
they're not
great-
gonna-
that's a
they're
great
not
way to
gonna
do
ask-
it.
Yeah, they're not gonna ask a direct number, and so
Yeah.
I just say, there's every day is something new, but then some days.
that's along the lines of how's the market. It's
Right.
awesome.
Well, you can also, reflect on, what, there are a lot of agents who've been doing this a really long time. But those of us that are newer, a lot of the times tend to be more up on like the newest rules and policies and the newest marketing techniques. Maybe not so much in our brokerage, but in like a lot of the other, especially smaller ones. They aren't doing the newest thing. Like that's where that Keller Williams being a tech company thing. What, Keller Williams is a tech company, and that means that when you list with me, we are so much more informed on how to sell a property in this type of market and this type of environment than other agents.
So why don't you put me to work for you today and let's start that.
You could actually button it up a little bit more too and be like, well, you know what, I joined our Keller Williams Market Center in June of 2019, and oh, by the way, do you know that we've sold X amount of dollars already this year?
Right, use the market
And then
stats.
stop. It will normally not drill you a little bit more and see.
Well, it is
Did
a
you just
great
get your
point, though.
license?
If somebody's been doing this for 20 years, they haven't been doing it this way for 20 years.
Right.
Right.
This market's changed so much in the last.
And also, do you want to list with the person, because this has a lot of validity. Do you want to list with the person that's got 200
Right.
listings and you're talking to his assistant every time you want to talk to him?
Yeah.
Or do you want to list with me that has a couple of listings and I'm dedicated to servicing you, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've said that
Then
to my
will you do
buyers.
it open
And that
house for me
works.
every week?
Yeah.
I have plenty of agents that'll do it for you.
Yeah, but we've had that where I've already established that because expires are, pretty much where we get most of our business. And they haven't had those communications with their agent. And so when they're like, well, the other guy that was here, I try to be there first, I think it's really important. Or the other guy, they showed me that they do 200 transactions and they actually have sold 5 things in this community, and you're telling me you haven't sold anything in here. Well, I tell you what, I can sell anywhere. It doesn't really matter. My license is within the entire state of Florida. And as far as me only having, 40 transactions last year compared to their 200, it's because you are going to get that one-on-one customer service that you said was lacking with your previous listing. So, and they're normally fine with that.
Well, especially if you get one that has that thing where they say like, oh, well, this guy is the guy for this community. Interesting. How is he bringing in buyers from other communities? Because if they're only working in X, Kingsgate or whatever, and that's the only place they work, then they're hoping somebody comes in or waiting on referral buyers. That's it.
Yeah.
If you're
Or
working
it's just
in every
move
other
up
place
city.
and you don't have, then you go, you know what? I'm bringing buyers from all over the county.
Yeah.
Why would you go with the person who's bringing them in from just this neighborhood?
Yeah,
Right.
I find
Well,
it's
that's a
really
good point.
important for me to not only be neighborhood specific
Right.
expert local realtor, but the whole, within our board expert.
Well, and you
So-
can always say, you know, one of the reasons why I chose to work with Keller Williams is because our business model encourages all of us to work together. So when you hire me, you're actually hiring an army of 165 or whatever agents.
Who, oh, by the way, has 12% market share, which is 2% market share more than anybody else in the area. Well, what does market share mean? Well, that means we sell more property than everybody else.
And pull out your agency standing thing and just say, so you're not just hiring me, I've got a whole team standing behind
I
me.
told the lady 170 agents today, baby, you better get to work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he lost a few, huh?
I always say over 165, because that's really where we always kind of teeter at.
We talked to 3 today.
Well, that's 168.
We didn't sign any of them.
50% of your goal to bold next week.
Squeeze me?
Sean put out his email today, you should be 50% to your goal.
Let's have one more cool, wicked cool
Change the subject.
wicked cool objection.
Comment.
That was my comment. Figured I'd keep commenting on there.
What's the hardest objection you've ever heard?
I think anything with no motivation. You know what I mean? That's it's like almost like if you can't.
I don't really need to sell.
Yeah, I don't really need to sell, or oh well, I can. I really can wait until next year. I'm not in a big hurry.
I'm curious, why would you want to list your home now versus waiting?
Well, I'm done taking care of it, and then we moved into our other house, but we just, we're not dying for money right now. So if it sits for a year, we'll be okay.
So I can go ahead and take the listing today, and when I don't talk to you all throughout the year, you're gonna be okay with that?
Well, no, yeah, that's really good. No, I'm tired. Yeah.
I've got one. Are you gonna put it on the Miami MLS, cause the buyer's gonna come from Miami?
We have that, that's true, right now.
Really?
That was for Jim's benefit. Yeah.
Watch out.
Wow.
No, it's on a private. Yeah, so there's weird nuances for sure.
What's your favorite?
Wow.
Let me just go with it. I love some scripts. I don't love them all. What's your favorite open house script if you are doing an open house?
I ramble.
What part of the?
I
I think my favorite thing is what Britt Brown showed us to do. Is I made up a little flyer and I'm like, hey, here's this. I'll meet you in the kitchen. And I do walk with them still, but it's sort of like their own guided tour, and then they're filling out the information, giving the feedback, and then when you take the clipboard from them, because they have to give you your clipboard back, then you go, oh, hey, you didn't give me the feedback on the front. What did you think about the front of the house? Oh, really? So are you pre-approved? Okay, and you're working with, you're not working with an agent. Okay, and I see here you said that you didn't like the kitchen. What was it about the kitchen? And, to open up that conversation.
And your last name really is Mouse Mickey?
Well, and one thing that I picked up from the Keller Mortgage lab calls a couple of months ago, in the kitchen and in the master bathroom, we have that one pager as far as, Keller Mortgage can save you up to $5,000. So one of the last things is, so you saw where I can save you $5,000 when you purchase a property, right? What? And so you can kind of go into that. You don't have to just buy this house if for whatever reason, but I have all your good contact information. The house that you buy through a Keller Williams agent, we can basically save you up to $5,000 for closing costs. I mean, it's not a great deal. Oh yeah, well let me make sure I've got your email address right here, and I'll send you some. Oh, better yet, go ahead and let me send you my app.
Let me text you my app right now.
Yeah.
I'll text you the mortgage link, get pre-approved if you haven't already.
You can do it right now. So.
We should have a contest. Jim, we should have a contest.
For pre-approval links.
We have not really had very much luck with contests, but go ahead.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
We should have a contest so you can get the most downloads of their app. It's even more, by the way, you all know that we did partner with Google.
Yeah.
Yes.
You heard that Google is now testing our consumer app.
Cool.
Right now, as we speak, and when it's perfect, they will release it to the world. Why is it still important to have people download your kind of crappy.
Because it's gonna be an automatic flip over.
I sent it to a friend of mine, because I've been doing that lately. If I've got, whatever, I'm making my calls for Bold, and then I'll send out my app, because it needs to be out there.
Sure.
And she actually hangs her license with us. One of Nancy's friends, Donna. And she sent back and she said, "This is fantastic. Did you design it?"
Yes, I
Really?
did.
She's like, yes, I
It's got my name on it.
Yeah, that's right, well, that's what I'm
Winky
talking
face.
about.
From a
Yeah,
consumer
you'll see my-
standpoint.
Everything about,
Yeah,
you know,
cool stuff.
the company,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
my name is on there, so anything you do on there will come as a credit to me.
And it's only.
Leslie, I think the problem that a lot of the agents have with the app, because I agree with you, like, I think it's a pretty functional app the way that it is. It's, I don't see where Zillow's really all that different,
No,
right?
I mean, they put stuff, and they're still gonna look at Zillow, which is
Right.
fine, but it's houses near me, and the point is they have your app.
I think agents complain because they're so used to seeing the back end of things on the MLS that they're not looking at that app from the consumer perspective.
But for me anyway, I send the app so that they can have the app. I'm still setting them up in MLS if they're
Sure.
a buyer or
Yeah.
whatever, just with their statistics so that I can see what they want. But I've got, working with one person now, and she'll send me a link to the app that she downloaded from me on a house that she wants to see. I mean, it works great, and I just pop in, and then
Yeah.
I get little things that, your experience would be so much better if you had this app. It's like, I got the app, but it came through on the text that way. So then that's gonna encourage whomever they share it with to download your app. And I'm assuming it's my app that would be downloaded.
Sure, yes.
I'm just gonna
Branded by
assume
you.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
If you share the link, it automatically brands to you.
right, but then this is somebody sharing a
Yes.
Yeah, they're
house out of my app.
Yes.
Yes, it all goes back to you.
Yeah.
So what
So it
about
works
the
great.
Kelly? You don't recommend sharing Kelly yet?
We don't share Kelly. That's not for consumers to use.
Kelly is our app.
It's not for consumers to use, it's for us agents to
We
use.
share snaps.
We share snaps and we share
I
insights.
guess it's a.
The insights are actually built into the snaps.
Jim has been sharing Kelly.
And the fact that, in
We share the
Bold, they
whole
said
laptop.
that you can duplicate the insights.
Yeah.
Alright, they should fix that, cause the whole.
Well, that
point
was
is
the
to-
whole, like, cause that was a question that was posed on Tuesday, and James
Yeah.
like, I don't know all that tech stuff, but the whole point is when the consumer is looking at it, they're going through your app and they're getting that recognition.
Yeah,
for
so-
you and not somebody else.
So
Because they're not
you,
downloading all of our.
Leslie, you and a couple other agents have a bunch of the same insights in town, right, in Punta Gorda?
Well, I didn't know we had the same insights.
Right, I know, because you were on a
I saw
mission
mine
to lock them all up first.
I was.
But what
You thought
it means,
you thought if you were first, you were the only one gonna be able to make an insight?
That's the way they made it
in
sound.
all fairness to her, that's how they made it sound.
Oh, really?
But the way it's gonna work is that if somebody has your app, branded to you, only your version of the insight is gonna show up. That's how it's supposed to
But
work.
also,
They
if somebody
didn't
gets
run
on
that
her
by
app,
me.
nobody else can put that person on their app.
Right, that's why you
Okay.
wanna gain the market share, by
Okay.
sending out this app.
I don't mean to be complaining, but I was ticked off when, we're in Bold right now, and they said, add 10 insights as part of your homework. And I'll be honest with you, I go out a lot. Was I telling you this? I go out a lot. I try to put insights in all the time.
Well, then you're
I'm lucky 20% of the time that the insight takes.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
the same
you
problem.
want it.
Do it on
I
command.
have the same problem, it stinks.
You already know,
Yeah.
the beauty of it is you're at the restaurant.
And then you can take the photo.
So-
I take the pictures, I
Yeah.
go take the
So I do
pictures
too.
and I email them to myself when I
Yeah.
go home and do it.
Yeah.
I get the same thing and I'm
It
like,
works
I was in
flawlessly
New Orleans,
from
I
the
was
desktop.
flipping out.
It never
I was
takes-
like, I'm thinking all these in New Orleans.
I tried to do it from the Memorial Day parade in downtown Punta Gorda this
Yeah.
last year, right? And I'm shooting video. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be the best insight because nobody's got, some might have photos, but they don't have videos. I'm shooting the video, go to post it. I had to do it like 3 times. It won't take.
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely wouldn't use. So the way to do it is to take your photos and your videos with your phone, and then when you want to do it in the Insight, call it up from your photo album. If you tried to do the photo or the video from the
Yeah.
Insight and it doesn't take,
You lose the
it's
photo and
gone.
video.
Yeah.
So always take it like a
What I do
regular
is
photo.
I usually download it, I have a Dropbox, I put all my videos in there, because sometimes they're so big, it won't share it from a phone. So if I put it in a Dropbox, I'm able to share it, or in the drive,
Yeah.
you know, to share it with somebody, that way, because the phone sometimes, is so big that you can't get, you know,
Yeah.
send it by email.
I'm locking the door.
Bye, Lorelai.
Bye, Lorelai.
Joplin, where you going?
Gotta go pick up kids.
See ya.
Well, thank you, everybody. I think we're all.
Thank you, ladies, for your time.
You guys did a great job. What happened to this camera, Brett? Couldn't get to work?
It was bogging down the computer running both of them, so
What camera was it?
I'm working through this. This is the one that's on.
Oh,
What is that tripod? Why does it look like that? Is it because it's just cool?
yes.
It's a vlogging tripod.
Ah.
Are you vlogging?
Is that ours?
Getting ready to
Looks like a drone.
get our video
Yeah.
studio started next week.
What are you vlogging?
Area,
Okay.
yeah, area
We've been
listing.
amateur vloggers.
Yeah.
Our whole lives.
Okay, we done?
Yeah, I think we're done. You guys did great.
You did great.
No, you did great.
Awesome.
Crystal did great.
Yeah.